All right, so today we're going to do another location podcast, and today's location is my dock, which is honestly more because I want to talk about point of view and seeing what's possible. When I first moved into the wonderful state of Colorado, I would always choose a big, expansive view so that I could always know that there's still something more to achieve. And I know that a lot of people see this on my Instagram, and I know that a lot of people see this on Facebook, but it honestly, it inspires me, and you've got to get around things that inspire you. Today's concept that I want to talk about is development versus performance. And what I realized is a lot of people are trying to develop, but they're looking for a performance timetable, or they're trying to perform better, but they're doing all these development things. So let's talk about what that means for a second. Performance is like if you're going to make your car perform better and you're going to be in a race the very next day. You want to change your oil. You want to get new tires, things that are really quick. You're going to perform better immediately. But if you want to develop your car, that means you're going to put in a whole new engine. That means you're going to go back to the drawing board on aerodynamics. You're going to do all these things. I was talking to one of my friends who I've really gotten a great relationship with, and she's a doctor. And it would be akin, and this is how I was explaining the concept to her, is I said, if you read I said, do you think that you understand more about medical stuff than I do? And she said, yeah, you know a lot of things, Greg, but you're not a doctor. And I said, so if I started reading a medical book, am I in performance or am I in development? And the reality is I would be in development. If she reads a medical book, then she is going to be in performance. But a lot of people are going through their whole life and they're trying to figure out, am I in performance? Am I in development? And they will try to perform at a higher level than they have developed to. And so for someone like me, where I've read a ton of books, if I'm going to read something that's like motivational, self-development, anything like that, I'm in the performance stage. But for someone who is new to the concept, if they start reading that book, they are in development stage. And I think we need to be more realistic and more aware of the difference between development versus performance. And so I've been developing this idea of on-location podcasts, and it has stunted my performance because I haven't been able to get out there and do one every Monday, every Friday, because I've been developing this new concept where literally, I wish you could see what I see, but it's like having your own personal cameraman. It's literally, I'm just standing out on my dock alone, but I have one of these Osmos that is going to follow me automatically. And then it's a wireless device on a tripod, on a tripod, and I'm staring at my phone over there so that I can have a monitor. So it's a very new kind of concept, but I've been developing it because one of the things that we struggle with as people who want to get our message out, as anybody who's trying to develop an idea, you need time to develop those ideas. So you need to look at what you just did back. And I can't always wait to hire a cameraman or have our media staff at KMG come and follow me around. And then I look at it back, and then I'm like, oh man, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. Getting into an environment where I can throw a lot of stuff at the wall and I can see what sticks, and I can see, hey, that looks good, that doesn't look good. What are great ideas for other entrepreneurs, other impactors, other influencers? I know I don't like that word, but it's still used a lot, so just so that you can identify. But I think understanding the difference between performing properly, developing properly, and understanding when you're in what part of your life. So, for instance, my friend who is a doctor, I asked her, okay, so if you're going to go become an oncologist, are you performing? Or would you be developing? She would be developing. So the thing, if you're out there and you want to go be a public speaker, for instance, and you're not a natural at it yet, start developing that. But don't just run out there, and a lot of people say, you just got to start doing it. You just got to develop your craft. Have conversations, small conversations, one-on-ones with friends, post little 10-second videos, 20-second videos, and maybe not even post them, just record them and look at them back. Talk to a mirror. Try to figure out and develop who you are, develop your message, develop what you're trying to get out there. Why do you exist? Why do you exist in the space? What are you trying to offer? What is your value proposition? And you've got to develop that properly. But what I'm watching on social media is one of two things. Number one, people are just kind of regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over and over and over and over, and it's getting a little redundant. So we're starting to numb that out. We're starting to not even see that. And then the other thing that constantly changes is this algorithm. There's one, like, there's some of my posts that I think are just great, and they'll get 20 likes, and some that I just throw up and it'll get 500, it'll get 1,000. And it's just, it does get kind of frustrating, but you have to understand that success is inevitable if you just persevere, and you have to keep persevering, and you have to understand that as long as you can move through that perseverance as efficiently as possible, and that's understanding, am I in a development phase or am I in a performing phase? Like, for instance, I'm a singer, so if I have to perform, I'm going to develop first. So if I have to go on a performance, well, you know what? We should probably learn the songs. We should probably develop a show. We should probably be able to hit our steps. We should probably be able to get certain things down. There is so much development that is being skipped over right now because we are not paying. We want to skip to performance. And that's why I say be plus do equals have. Be plus do equals have. You have to become first, then you can do it, then you can have. So a lot of people just want the recognition. Oh, I'm an influencer. I'm an impactor. But they haven't developed what they've done. They haven't developed who they are. They haven't developed their message. And this is something that I want people to pay more attention to so that we can be better about pushing society forward, pushing the envelope, and creating that momentum that is going to truly change people's lives. Whether it's just one being yours, or it's your friends, or it's someone else's. There's so many different ways to do it, but we have to make a meaningful impact. And that's why one of my favorite sayings by Jim Rohn is, success comes at the service to others, not the expense of others. And so I think it's important to get into this development phase. And if you haven't tried personal development, if you haven't tried learning about motivation, inspiration, start developing that part of your life and start teaching it to others. And when you inspire someone else, I'm not kidding, you get more inspired down into your soul. It's just the way it is. So just a quick recap. The reason why I bring you out here is because I got tired of just doing a podcast where it was banged out like really quick. I want them to be visually appealing if you so choose. I don't want to just be behind a computer. I want to do something that makes me unique. And this comes from being inspired by the kids at my college who challenged me. They said, oh, because you are great at audio and this, that, what different things do you do with your podcast? Because most people wouldn't know how to do that. And I said, well, I'm kind of like everyone else right now. And so I went into a development phase so that I can develop into more than I was, so that hopefully I can show people what's possible, and I can spark new ideas so that other people will create contraptions like this is 7 different manufacturers. I'll post a picture of it on my Instagram. But this is something I've been developing so that I can provide better content on location, wirelessly, so I can move around. You know, I'm not much of a dancer. I think y'all know that. Well, especially now. But the reason I show this view is because I think that everybody should be able to wake up inspired. And it's not lost on me that most people don't wake up to a view like this yet, but I didn't always. but I always went somewhere that inspired me. I always got around people that inspired me. I let my environment change me in a good way. There's a lot of environments out there that are developing people in a really bad way. They're inspiring you in a bad way. And you've got to, if you have never climbed a 14 or if you've never been into the mountains of Colorado, I really encourage you to get around inspiring things, inspiring people, inspiring places, and start understanding that your environment is really important. And because we live in this technological age, if you have a phone, you can access the internet and you can see inspiring things. You can see inspiring people, speeches. You can listen to the greats of the world that have forged the world that we live in today. And it's so important. I'll tell you right now, people are the number one thing that have changed my life. Getting around the right people. Unfortunately, all the bad things that has happened in my life, from either me making bad decisions and part of the action, part of the problem, or things being done to me, is because I was around the wrong people. I was in the wrong environment. And now I'm lucky enough because I've developed this environment where everyone in my life is positive and they're pushing me forward and they're helping me change and they're helping me become more. You have to develop that part of your life. It's like a muscle. You got to work it out, and you've got to understand that we are lucky to live in this day and age. But understanding this difference between performance versus development. Now, when it's time to perform, if you've done the development work, you shouldn't be scared. You won't be scared. You might have a little butterflies. You might have anxiety. But if you're delivering a speech, if you're delivering a proposal, if you are scolding your kids, if you are getting ready to perform on stage in Vegas, it doesn't matter what it is. But what is important is that when it's time to perform, you perform. And when it's time to develop, you develop. And you should know the difference. Unfortunately, it took me a long time to figure out those different parts of my life because so many people want to move right to put me on stage. But like Eminem said, if you only get one shot, I mean, don't you want to maybe practice a little bit? Don't you want to develop a little bit? Get around people who challenge you, who change you, who push you forward. Start developing every part of your life. Develop your marriage into something more. Develop your friendships into something more. Develop your business into something more. Your ideas, your mind, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way that you connect with people. Your entire being is constantly being developed so that you can perform. It's becoming and achieving. And it's like chicken and the egg. Because if you become more, you can achieve more. If you achieve more, you become more. When does it stop? Nobody knows. But the important thing is, develop into something great. You have a choice. Take an action. And thank you for coming and seeing the final seeing. Hey, I haven't said that. Listening to the Final Percent podcast. You're seeing it, and I want to take you guys on journeys on where I'm at in my life. And this view is very special to me because it challenges me every day because it's so big. It's expansive. And it makes me realize that I still have mountains to climb. I still have things to do. And even though there's a lot of people who would measure me as success, I really feel like I'm just getting started. And it's because I wake up inspired. I'm around people who inspire me. And that is one of the most important things that you can do is stay inspired. Inspiration is the sense of belonging to something bigger than you. Motivation is what gets you out of bed. They're very different things, but understand where you're at in life and think about your philosophy. Your philosophy is what's going to change you. I know this sounds a little preachy, but honestly, I don't care. It's just on my heart, and it's where I'm coming from. I'm going to be able to deliver podcasts at a much higher level, much more quickly now, and I'm excited to be able to share my journey so that you can know what's possible and hopefully spark ideas so that you do something even greater. And then I'm like, oh, I got to do that too. So anyway, I don't know if the camera will follow me. Come over here. Yeah, we're still working on the technology, huh? So anyway, no. All right. Hey, I was trying to have the camera follow me. Let's see if I can highlight my face and, it sees me. So let's see if it'll follow me. Oh, I think the sun's messing it up. But anyway, this view is special to me, and this is Greg Kimball with the Final Percent. And it is my mission in life to help you find all of the places in your life where you can go the final percent and find that exponential part of your life so that you can start living an exponential life.